Ever left someone undelivered because you thought you responded, but you actually just responded in your head? Or you were just texting someone in the middle of a conversation, and then they stop replying for days? Yeah, same. It happens. But let's talk about being left undelivered. Hi, my name's SK, and welcome back to Heartstatic, the podcast where we tune into the background noise of our thoughts, feelings, and everything we're too afraid to say out loud. Nowadays, there's an expectation for you to be on your phone and reply 24/7. I mean, why wouldn't you? You use your phone to check the time, to check the weather, and with social media, it's so easy to be on your phone during downtime. I find myself scrolling through Reels or TikToks, posting, DMing funny videos to my friends, and it can get so bad that there's a word for it: doom scrolling. Going onto social media and turning our brains off is just so easy. You could just reach into your pocket and just go nuts. I mean, I can't say the number of times that I've just, come home from a day of work or from a day of class, and I just need a brain break, and I just lay down on my bed for some bed rotting time and just scroll on my phone. It feels good. It feels great, actually. But then eventually, I get so sucked into it that, I look up and the sun's gone down, and it's 6 p.m., and I still had a bunch of things to do before I'm supposed to go to bed. It doesn't let me get up out of bed. If anything, I just kind of continue scrolling, but anxiously, thinking about all the things that I have to do and not getting up to do them because the mental load is just too much. Sometimes it can get so bad that I feel like I need a phone cleanse day to just not be on my phone for 24, 48 hours, whatever, and just live my life. But the fact that I feel the need to do that, the fact that I need to completely, entirely remove myself from my phone, shows us how addicting being on the phone can be, and how we've all become obsessed with checking texts, checking our, favorite celebrity posting, and just turning our brains off that way. It's easy, it's simple, it's right there in your pocket, but there's so many other ways to do that. The thing is, it's so prevalent now to doom scroll that that's why it's so expected for everybody to be on their phones and to reply as quickly as possible. And that's another thing about the mental load. Depending on what you're texting your friend, your coworker, your whatever about, the mental load of responding might be too much, and that'll just lead us to doom scroll again. And so then when they ask you, hey, did you see my text? Yeah. So why didn't you respond? I don't know. And then just make up some bullshit excuse. But it's because, there's an expectation to respond so quickly that makes it feel like a bit, not vengeful, but like spiteful. I don't wanna respond to your text. I have my own life. This is my brain break time. This is my time for myself. Yes, I just happen to be on my phone, but why do I owe my time to you at this moment? It's because we can use our phones as a way to enjoy our leisure time that I think makes people feel like they're owed a text back immediately. Yes, technology has brought us so much closer to each other, and we can, hear back immediately if we want to. And people do. I'm not saying that nobody ever responds immediately, but it's almost like there's it's become a social rule to respond quickly. If you don't respond quickly, people tend to read into it, or you yourself read into it if someone didn't reply to you, immediately thinking, oh, did I say something weird? Did I freak them out? Did I say the wrong thing? Am I too demanding by asking them to respond to my previous text? It's become a social courtesy to respond, so much so that it's considered a green flag if someone texts you back immediately, and a red one if they don't. Like, why is it considered a good or bad thing on my personality in my life if I'm always on my phone? I mean, everyone has people to talk to all the time. Parents, friends, coworkers, roommates. And when you send a text, you demand attention from someone. If I were to talk to all of the people in my life every day, or even every week, trying to have a conversation with them that's real, not just, hey, how are you, good, how are you, and just like actually talking to them, I'd never get off my phone. I'd never have time for myself to do or experience things. I'd never have a life to live that I can tell them about. I'd lose myself. I'd become someone obsessed with keeping up appearances, with making sure that I have that green flag, that I can respond immediately, that I will give you the time of day, whatever time of day it may be. But I don't feel like that's realistic. I mean, yes, there are obviously people who respond quicker than others, and some people who take days to respond. But then it kind of turns into this petty thing. If you are a quick text backer, if you're a quick replier, there we go. If you're a quick replier and the person you're reaching out to takes a while, hours, days, whatever, you might feel this like petty need to give a taste of their own medicine. You know, oh, they took 6 hours to respond and we were in the middle of a conversation. I'm going to wait 7 hours to respond, see how they like it. Odds are they don't care. If they're usually the type of person who doesn't respond to texts within an hour, I really doubt that they're going to notice. But it's still, I mean, I do it. I still feel like, I mean, I've been on both sides. Sometimes it takes me a while to respond. Sometimes I text back very quickly. And if somebody doesn't respond to me quickly, yeah, I do feel that need to be like, oh, well, clearly they can't make time for me, so I'm gonna wait to respond to them. But then it just turns into this whole, like, bullshit petty thing. And it's so unnecessary. And odds are most of the time, if I do think that way, I end up giving in, being like, oh, the 30 minutes was enough, right? That's fine. Point is, everybody has their own shit going on. Everybody has their own mental loads that they have to deal with. Maybe, whatever you're talking about just feels too much. Maybe they're asking to hang out and you're just like, I can't do that right now. I just need to sit in my bed and rot and not do anything with anyone. And the thing is with that, like that's kind of a hard thing to explain, because if you were to say that, depending on the type of person that whoever you're talking to may be, they might receive that as like, oh, they don't even want to talk to me. They don't want to make time for me. And then odds are that you can expect that from someone if you say, no, I don't really want to hang out with you. I'd rather have time for myself. So then you just don't respond at all, which is also rude. And you're kind of stuck in this no-win situation. Something I really love is the concept of a low-maintenance friend. Now, a low-maintenance friend is someone who you see from time to time. You don't really text in between seeing each other, but then when you do, it's amazing. It's perfect. And it's like you just saw them yesterday, and it's perfect. I have close childhood friends from high school, friends all over, and they're all in college or post-grad at this point. But I go weeks, sometimes months without talking to them. Yes, I like their posts on social media or whatever, but I don't have full-blown conversations all the time. And once I do see them, we have so much to talk about. Oh, did you hear so-and-so did this? Oh, I tried this thing. You should try it as well. And it's the best natural high I can ever experience. Time flies when I'm with them. I get to learn about their lives. I get to catch up with them. All this stuff that I've missed out on the past few weeks, months, whatever. And then after that, we go our separate ways, live our lives, and the cycle repeats. And all this isn't to say that I won't reach out to them because I'm worried we, won't have enough to talk about when I do see them. Absolutely not. Of course I'll text them if I need or want to talk, or seeing something that reminds me of them and hit them with a simple thinking of you text. But I can't call it reasonable to expect others to respond to me all the time. And I do know some people who feel, I guess, neglected in some way if I don't message them frequently, like once a week or something. And especially if you're not in my, city or where I am, like locally, yeah, it is kind of hard to reach out to you, to text you, because I'm living my life and you're living yours. Like I don't feel this debt to them. I don't feel like I have to call them all the time, text them all the time, because I know, I still love them and I still care about them and I want them in my lives, and they are, just not all the time. And it kind of upsets me if somebody does reach out to me and is like, hey, like, why don't you ever make time for me? I know we're like far away from each other, but it feels like you don't care about me. It feels like you don't want to know what's going on in my life. And that's not the case at all. It's just like, I don't understand why some people get upset as to why I don't reach out to them all the time. It's not that if I don't reach out, I don't care. I guess I'm just living my life, and I want you to live yours, and I don't expect you to think about me every day or every week because I'm not there. I still love you, I still support you, I still care about you. I just don't think I need to reaffirm that fact by reaching out all the time. Something we don't realize is that all this texting didn't exist 20 years ago. You had to, I was 20 years ago. I'm 21, by the way. But you had to call someone's landline or make sure you had quarters in your pocket for payphones, or you had to send a letter. Why do I sound so old? I've definitely sent letters before. But like like that's what you had to do. And once people started getting phones, odds are you have to do a paper text plan or buy bundles of hundreds of text. And if you surpass that number of texts that you paid for, then you'll be charged. And at that time, unlimited texting plans were incredibly expensive. But now you can text all you want. The only limits you really have right now is the storage on your phone. Funny enough, I was actually on the phone with my dad talking about this a few days ago, and we were talking about this concept of texting versus calling. I told him that it's not really normal for people now to call unless, you're driving or in a position where you can't text, or you miss someone a lot, in which case you probably like FaceTime. I like to FaceTime. Every other time it's a text though, and he thought that was the weirdest thing ever. Because like I said, they'd want to call someone if they needed to tell someone something. And a lot of people that are my parents' age call now. Like they hate responding to text. They hate texting, or they do the typical K, or even better, the thumbs up emoji after you text them something. They prefer to call. They prefer to hear your voice, I guess. I don't know. I used to go to summer camp for 3 weeks every summer. That's how I met most of my friends. And we weren't allowed to have our phones. We lived in tents. We weren't allowed to have any electronics. And it felt amazing. Even though we were like in our teens, it still felt good. It still felt important to us, to our brains, that we just had our time away from our phones. I mean, we were younger and we were still attached to our phones. So I remember giving like Snapchat passwords to friends who weren't at that summer camp so that we could keep our streaks. But it allowed us to, like I keep saying, live our lives. We were able to enjoy the moments, the experiences, the things that the counselors had us do, and enjoy each other's time, make memories that we can talk about later on, that we can text about later on. Remember when this guy did this thing? Ew, it was so gross. Or whatever. Texting was supposed to make it easy for people to message others if it's necessary, just a quick message. Now we have full-on conversations. And I know I've been saying like texting immediately is a demand for attention, but texting also creates a boundary, if anything, and calling is even more demanding or intimidating. Yes, texts are still demanding for attention in some way, but it's more quiet and a bit long-term. It's like if you don't respond to a text for hours, then it's like you really didn't have a single moment to text me back in those hours, in those days. Meanwhile, calling, your phone rings for only, a minute, 30 seconds? So you weren't free for that minute or 30 seconds and you'll call me back when you get the chance. Or you missed the notification that I, missed call from me, then I'll just call you again. But like, say you're making a call and you're waiting and the phone is ringing and either the person you're calling picks up in that minute or they don't. It truly is a demand for attention right now. Answer me right now. With texting, yes, it's super nice if somebody responds right away, but if they don't, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, immediately, it's not a big deal. And the conversation that you're about to have can be drawn out for hours, days. I've had conversations go on for like weeks. I feel like there's so much anxiety nowadays over making a phone call because of how demanding it is. If I didn't have a job at one point where I had to cold call people or pick up the phone to strangers, I'd still have a hard time making a doctor's appointment. Yeah, that that might be embarrassing, but I know for a fact that I'm not the only one. I mean, if I could hit up my dentist, text him something like, "Hey, I need an appointment for a checkup. When are you free?" I absolutely would. Can I do that? I recently started to like cold calling my friends, and that may be a hot take, but if they pick up and they're free, it feels like I won a free prize. I rolled the dice by calling them to see if they'd pick up, and we could talk for, I don't know, an hour or so, and then if they do pick up, I win. I get to spend time with them. But I know some people hate when people do that. I used to be one of those people, especially in middle school. Like if you had something quick you wanted to ask me, just text me. It doesn't have to turn into a whole conversation. But I know that there are some people that you have to call because trying to get them to text you back is like making a horse drink. Honestly though, I feel like we've taken advantage of how much the way that we live our lives have changed. And should we spend it waiting for a text back or always being on our phones? No, I mean, I sound like a mom when I say it, It's 'cause that damn phone. But maybe they were right in some way. Maybe it wasn't the cause of your headache or the way you got a cold, the way some moms tend to be. But they're right. We need to learn how to detach ourselves from our phones, to keep ourselves from becoming so dependent on a text back or keep us from doom scrolling. And if you find yourself listening to this and thinking, yeah, I do put a lot of value in how people respond to me, how frequently, or I do spend a lot of time on my phone, it's hard for me to actually do the things that I'm supposed to do. Maybe that's a sign that you want to change it and try to turn your brain off another way. Go for a walk, hang out with friends, go do that thing you were really interested in doing. Go start that new hobby. Go live your life instead of looking at all these posts on social media and texting your friends and hearing about their lives and keeping yourself from making the memories that you should make. I'm going to give you guys a challenge. This episode comes out on Thanksgiving, which I think is super fun. And try to spend the whole day with your phone on Do Not Disturb. Try not to text or call anyone unless it's scheduled, like you're planning with your family to video chat someone who couldn't make it. Obviously that's fine, but try to just stay off your phone, stay off of Instagram, TikTok, and just spend time with your loved ones. And don't be well, what if I have to text them that I'm here at the house? Ring the damn doorbell, knock on the door. You're a human being, you don't have to text them, hey, I'm here. Leave your phone on Do Not Disturb for 24 hours and see how you feel after that. Really live your life with your family. If you're the type of person who has a hard time not responding immediately, if somebody texts you, just open the message and let it be. Don't respond. Spend some time for yourself. Try and make it fun if you find it intolerable. Try to make it a game for yourself and make a memory or two. Do something on Thanksgiving that you'll be able to tell your friends on Friday. But then after that, let me know in the comments how you feel. If you felt, like you kept needing to check your phone, you kept wanting to see if there's any interaction, if somebody reached out to you, if somebody whatever. Or if you actually felt kind of good, you felt a little free. That's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for listening. If you like my intro-outro music, they were made by my friend Daria Kolchitsky, and you can find more of his information at warmglowrecords.com. Once again, that's warmglowrecords.com. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow this podcast wherever you find yours. Also follow the Instagram at heartstaticpodcast, where I post questions, updates, and anything you want really. Just DM me and let me know. I'll see you in the next episode.